And we're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rollsicle. I, of course, am Nathaniel, one of the hosts of the channel, and joined by my lovely co-host, Ashley. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
There she is. And we are excited and also a little disappointed and feeling a lot of things, but we're going to get into that with what you guys can see right there. Right there. It's crazy. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. It's fine. The Spider-Man Magic the Gathering news. So for those of you that didn't know, we've got some Spider-Man MTG product coming out. We were starting to learn a little bit about it, and there's a lot going on. We have a lot of opinions, a lot of stuff that we would like to talk about. But we're going to sort of take it bit by bit. Even me and Ashley might have some differing opinions, but we're just going to kind of get you guys informed, one, which we'll do our best to be opinion free, and then slide in and say, hey, okay, this is now our opinions. Bam, here we go. So we want to make this, I mean, no promises it's going to be a quick video, but we want to get through the information quickly. So jumping into things.
The only thing not included is the release date. The release date, I believe, is September 26th of 2025.
I did not even know we had a release date. So there you go.
Let me
September.
fact check. Well, he starts
September. Okay, so first things first. We were spoiled 6 cards. Now, we'll get into what exactly these cards are later in the video, but they are essentially the 6 cards that are going to make up one of those scene boxes that we saw back in the day with Lord of the Rings. So the one thing that it should be noted here is that though this is a standard legal set that, you know, Magic has announced that she's dying over here.
I'm so sorry, you guys. Yeah, I'm fine. Just so sick.
Yeah, just making sure she's okay. All right, so Magic has announced that all Universes Beyond sets are going to be standard legal. There are still going to have certain cards in them, like Commander decks, or in this case, the scene cards and whatnot, and we'll get into Commander decks later, that have eternal legal cards that are not legal in Eternal formats, legal cards that are not legal in Standard, and that's what these cards are. So getting into those, we begin with Grasping Tentacles. So this card is pulled straight from the scene. You can kind of tell that it's got this full border because, like, why would Grasping Tentacles just have a spider leg on it if it wasn't part of the scene? But we'll get into that later. But yeah, so this one is a blue and a black, so it'll go in the Doc Ock deck, as we'll see in a bit. Target opponent mills 8 cards. You may put an artifact card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So pretty good in a deck that wants opponents to mill, pretty good in a deck that already wants to take things from graveyards, but in your just regular Dimir deck, it might not necessarily be worth it because not every deck, in fact, a lot of decks aren't going to hit an artifact in 8 cards that you're milling. So you need to be playing this for another reason, but I don't hate the card, and I think it's pretty neat art. So next, right next to this on the scene box, we see Venom, Deadly Devourer. 2 and a Golgari, I think. Legendary creature, symbiote villain, 4/4 for 4 with Vigilance and Menace, so that's okay. But in the power creep that we've been seeing, that's not even stellar. And then at pay 3, should be noted at instant speed, exile target creature card from a graveyard. When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on target symbiote, which is really interesting words text there because this is the only symbiote we've seen so far, right? Yeah. Now you can throw in other symbiotes and we might see other versions of Venom, which will probably be symbiote. We might even see other symbiotes, for those of you that know some more of the Spider-Man lore. You know, we might see Scream, we might see Carnage, we might see, you know, all sorts of stuff. So, and there's a lot more symbiotes that we could go through. So who knows what we're going to see in the main set, but you can put these counters on another symbiote, or you can just build Voltron in this. It should be noted that X is not power, which is usually what we see, it's toughness. So in this deck, you're wanting to run a lot of and it's not just from your graveyard, but if you run a lot of high toughness creatures, you can then, you know, exile them later to beef up your commander. But you also can exile other people's cards. So it's got some graveyard hate written into the card. But, you know, I don't hate it. This could be a fun build. Right now, so far, as crazy as it sounds, if I were to build a deck from the commanders we've seen thus far, I'm choosing Venom. He looks really cool. It seems like a fun build. And the Spider-Man, when we'll get to that one, is, in my opinion, a little disappointing. Okay, so next we have Green Goblin. You can see Venom's like claw there on the left side, so further driving home the fact that this is a scene box. But we have Green Goblin Nemesis, 2 and a Rakdos. Legendary creature, Goblin Human Villain, which Goblin Human's weird to see, but makes sense for Green Goblin because I assuming that you don't know this, but
Nope.
he's a human man that then injects himself with something called like the Goblin Serum, essentially, that gives him heightened abilities. It's supposed to make him like Spider-Man, essentially, right? But his makes him all goblin-y and crazy and mean, but very strong and hard to hurt and that sort of thing. And then this is just like, oh, well, I guess you guys are seeing that for now, but this is just like tech that he builds. But anyways, flying 3/3, whenever you discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on target goblin you control. Whenever you discard a land card, create a tapped treasure token. Really glad that that comes in tapped. I feel like this could be really broken if it didn't, because just discard mana to get mana, right?
Exactly.
Like, seems pretty powerful, but, because I can imagine, like, 2 mana wheel where you discard your whole hand, and in that hand you discarded 3 lands.
Boom, boom, boom.
You make 3 treasures. You draw, because it's a wheel, so you draw 7 more cards. In that, you draw another wheel and like 2 or 3 more lands. So then you play that wheel with the untapped treasure, and you can just like wheel the whole deck, and it makes other people's draw. So you have like a scrawling crawler that does a damage to people when they draw, and you can just like, infinite win right there, basically. So, or hopefully chain a win. It's not infinite, but anyway, so glad that those come in tapped, but it still seems like a fun build. I don't hate on it, but, Rakdos isn't my favorite color combo. Green Goblin's not my favorite villain from Spider-Man either, so not too, like, crazy about this one, but it does look pretty cool. All right, so next we have Doc Ock, Evil Inventor. I'm a little sad that he doesn't cost 8. He costs 7. But he's a human scientist villain. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target non-creature artifact you control becomes an 8/8 robot villain artifact creature token in addition to its other type. So, kind of what we expected to see from a Doc Ock card, but realistically, and he himself is an 8/8, it's not crazy powerful. For a 7-drop commander, you're expecting to see, or even just in the 99, you're expecting to see a lot more from 7 mana, at least in my opinion. I realize we'll come back to you at the end of these and get like a wrap around, because I've been we should do it on each of them. I'm not being a very good co-host right now. But yeah, so at the beginning of combat, you're getting an 8/8 every combat. But this is also 7 mana. Like, in anything mid-range or higher of commander like power levels, once you're into the like bracket 3, which we haven't even talked about the brackets on this channel. I can make a whole video about that, and maybe we will. But once you're in bracket 3, this just isn't doing it as a 7-drop in almost all decks. She runs a non-creature artifact deck. Now, not with black, so she couldn't put this card in there. But even if you could, like, you're probably not that itching to, because it just doesn't seem like what you need for 7 mana.
Once a turn, it's only 1 artifact.
Like, it's only 1 a turn, right? If this was like, when it enters the battlefield, which it wouldn't even be crazy, right? When it enters the battlefield as a 7-drop, all non-creature artifacts you control become 8/8s until the end of turn. Yeah, that's a great top end. Like, now it's one of those commanders that you basically play not to ever use as a commander. You just like hit them, you just hope it resolves and then you win the game. But I still think it would be much more playable, at least in the 99 at that point. But little miffed about that. All right, next we have Sensational Spider-Man. This is our Spidey, the only Spidey we've seen. Now, apparently, we have heard, I don't know if this was in the article for the research, but I have heard going around just in the talkings that Spider-Man's going to be mainly Bant. So white, blue, and then some green. This one we see is just white, blue here, so an Azorius Spider-Man. Sensational Spider-Man, Spider-Human Hero, legendary creature. Whenever it attacks, you get to tap target creature defending player controls and put a stun counter on it. Then you may remove up to 3 stun counters from among all permanents, and then you get to draw cards equal to the number of stun counters. So, we're not dumb. We can tell that this is a play on like shooting things with webs, so they get stunned because of the webs. But and I love that card draw is built into the commander. Don't get me wrong, and it's a low cost commander, right? So you're getting this out turn 3 in almost every deck. In which case, him attacking is a little bit more reasonable. But again, you have to get the attack trigger on this, and it has no evasion.
Nope.
None. Nada. That doesn't sound like Spider-Man. Easy to catch,
Yeah, no.
That's not giving much Spider-Man when you say that he doesn't have flying, or, heck, I don't know what you could have done. Reach is an evasion, though, but yeah, we would have loved to see it on him. It's just, this doesn't scream to me as that great of a card. Like, I'm going to build a Spider-Man deck, but I'm going to probably pick a different legendary Spider-Man to build as the commander of that deck. Now, maybe this will go in the deck, But I don't know. We'll see. And last card that was revealed, so that 6 cards in the scene box, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but is Pumpkin Bombs. This, of course, goes with the Green Goblin. Very chaotic card here. Tap, discard 2, draw 3, then put a fuse counter on this artifact. It deals damage equal to the number of fuse counters on it to target opponent, so you get to pick an opponent, and then that opponent gains control of this artifact. So there is a little bit of politicking that works there, because really, for the first couple of hits of this thing, that damage isn't really doing much, right? Like, all right, I'm going to hit you for 1, you hit me for 2, I'll hit you for 3, you hit me for 4. Like, okay, I took 6 and you took 4, and we each got to filter 4 cards into 6. That's pretty good. But also, depending on the group you play with, I tend to play with my lovely co-host, who's the greatest human being on this planet, and I trust her when she says that she'll pass it back to me in a multiplayer game. You are to me. Anyways, I trust her if we're in a multiplayer game that she'll pass it back to me, right? Because there will be consequences, and she'll see me again. But
wild to hear you threaten that when you know who's always threatening that at the table when we're playing Magic.
That's true. But the point that I'm getting at is, like, I trust that you'll do what you say, but in real Magic, like, you never actually have to do what you say. And,
you like to play that game a lot.
I don't. I tend to do what I say. I do.
You like to go back on our deals.
I don't tend to go back on deals ever. I don't know what you're talking about. I would love to know an example. I'm being genuine. Like, when I say, like, I'm going to do something, I tend to do that in the game. Like, I like to keep my word.
Until I bring out mechanized production and then you claim that I'm the issue.
Yes, when she plays mechanized production on 7 clues and it makes one before she gets the trigger on it. So, AKA, if she untaps, she wins. Yeah, you are the problem at that point. You
didn't have to murder me.
Yes, we did have to murder her. Okay, anyways. So, my problem with this card is that, opponents could just take this and pass it back and forth between them.
Opponents can be assholes.
And then you never get it back. You paid the mana into it, and you really didn't get that much out of it.
Yeah,
so,
it's really great.
All right, so, Commander decks. We're going to talk about that in a second. Did you have anything to add for the cards?
No.
Okay, great. Commander decks. There's not going to be any. It's like the greatest disappointment of this era. I mean, not really, but I was
truly. I don't think Nathaniel's been more disappointed ever in his life.
I don't think it's hit me yet, honestly.
It's not going to hit him until September 26th.
I still think September is going to roll around, and then there's not going to be Commander decks.
Like, we're going to order all of it to our house. Mm-hmm. And there is not going to be Commander decks in the box, and I think that he might cry.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be a rough day in our household.
So, yeah, there's not Commander decks. The word going out right now is essentially, hey, we want to push people to standard, and I don't hate on that. I'm not hating on standard.
No,
but I do think that Commander is still and is going to continue to be the most popular format. And while I am in the boat of reining back Commander product, if they came out and said, hey, this is going to have 2 Commander decks, and we're going to try to only have 2 per set going forward, give or take like 1 set of 5 per year like they kind of used to do. Okay. I'm not against that. Give me a spider-themed deck and then a villain-themed deck. That's fine, But, or just, I guess, hero, because you could have heroes that aren't spider-themed, but most of the Spider-Man heroes are spider-themed. But anyways, like, I would be totally here for it. But the fact that there's none, like, this is supposed to be an introductory set, and we'll talk about that even more later, but an introductory set for people to come into the game. Yeah. And you'll go, okay, but this set doesn't have decks made for you to play the format that is played by the most people in the game. You have to go build one. You're going to have to go build one.
And you don't know anything about Magic.
No one's going to do that. Like, when you don't know... It's been a long time since I have been not a Magic player, right? I've been playing for 1.5 years now. She's more recent, right? But more often than not, what happens is, someone teaches you, or you already know how to play the game in my sense, because I learned back in like, elementary school from my dad. And then you hear about this Commander thing. It's what most people are playing. And you go, okay, that sounds really cool. I don't know nearly enough to build a deck, so I'm going to pick up a precon. And then I'm going to play that precon. And one of the first 2 precons I picked up is Sidar, which is actually the one I'm looking into upgrading. So though I'm doing it a year late, I'm sort of going down the traditional line of pick up a precon, get to know it a little bit. If it's one you like, start upgrading it, get to know kind of how deck synergies work, and then maybe eventually start building your own. But if you want to build one for Spider-Man, you just have to jump straight in to building your own. And
that's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. And one of the greatest things about the Universes Beyond Commander decks is that all 100% 100%. I mean, yes, 100%. But all 100 of the cards in the deck were printed, even if they were reprints, with art that was thematic to the deck. So you could play a Lord of the Rings deck that, until you upgraded it, was going to have all Lord of the Rings art card themes, right? So one of the former members of the channel and a good friend of ours, Trenton, has a Lord of the Rings deck. He has put cards that aren't Lord of the Rings cards in there, but he has tried to keep it as close to the theme of Lord of the Rings as possible. So he's not going to throw in an Aether Drift card just because it's really good for his deck, because it really throws off the theme, unless it's one of the Aether Drift cards that happens to look fantasy enough to be in Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Most of them aren't, and almost nothing from Magic lore is going to look on theme for Spider-Man. Yeah. It's one of the biggest qualms I have with this and other things as a Universes Beyond product, is just how are you gonna do that?
Yeah.
We know that at some point in this year, and I'll probably buy this one just because of my upbringing, we're getting Secret Lair SpongeBob. Well, it would be great to build a SpongeBob deck, but every card in that 99, basically, unless some cards in the 99 come in the Secret Lair, is not going to be themed around SpongeBob. It's just not. You're going to be playing these, humanoids and goblins and orcs and all of these things, and then be like, I'm going to bring out my Commander Jellyfish and aficionado SpongeBob, and it's not going to mesh very well. So, yeah. Very disappointed about that. But I don't know, where are you at?
I think it's ridiculous.
I think it's such a bad move.
Because the reason that I got into Magic, well, A, because I was dating him, but also what got me more into Magic, the Doctor Who decks.
Yeah.
I grew I didn't grow up watching Doctor Who, but in my right before I was a teenager, in middle school, in high school, I watched Doctor Who hardcore. I learned the Gallifreyan written language. There you go. Hardcore was in Doctor Who. And to be able to see that in this new thing that he was trying to get me into and all this, I was like...
Oh, great.
Yeah, What?
Oh, I was talking for you. I was like, oh great.
I thought you were saying it sarcastically, like I had done something wrong.
No.
Anyways. I'm sorry. Anyways. It was great to see it because it was something I'd loved so much. I hadn't let myself enjoy in a really long time, in this new way that I could enjoy it. Because are those decks kind of a pain in the ass to play? Yes.
Which you learned after getting them and playing them.
But do I love them because they're this childhood thing that brings me nostalgia and joy? Absolutely.
Yeah. And
that's what these are supposed... that's what this set is supposed to do. Wizards has even said that. We want to have Universes Beyond to bring more people into Magic. Great. But what are those people supposed to do? Because if I hadn't known him, there hadn't been decks in the Doctor Who set, I'm sorry, I never would have started playing Magic. I just wouldn't have. Because... I'm going to look at that and I'm going to see, wait, I have to figure out how to build something. I have to figure out what cards to buy. There's no instruction. Yeah, there's no something for me just to buy, just to try.
There's not a good jumping off.
There's no way for you just to try it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm really glad that you could walk into a game store now and be like, okay, I really want to play Magic. This Spider-Man set looks super cool, but I don't feel good about making decks. What else could I do? And they go, well, let me tell you about this beautiful thing called Draft. I'm glad that that's sort of getting a revamp in the fact that there won't be as much focus on Constructed. But even standard, it's like cracking 10 Spider-Man packs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make a standard legal deck out of it, but you're not going to be able to make a standard competitive deck out of it. It's not going to... It's not going to do anything, So don't get me wrong. I like that they're saying, hey, buy a box with 4 buddies or 3 buddies and just get a little tournament going, make some 60 card decks out of it and have fun. Okay, great, that's fine. Kitchen table Magic has always existed, but Commander's the most popular format. People are going to want to play Commander, and they're going to want to be able to make a Commander out of heroes that they love, like Spider-Man.
And everyone's grown up with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
People as old as our parents and older, and us, and our children will grow up with Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
He's most of the Marvel characters are just timeless heroes, so why is it that we're sitting here going, we want to have this thing that so many people can connect with, we can bring in all these people, but we're not going to have something pre-built for them to start with.
Yeah.
And that I have another button to pick with that later in the presentation.
All right, so let's jump further into our video here. So let's talk about some of the price ranges of what's coming out. Before we jump into this, so for those of you that haven't seen the Final Fantasy prices, which we probably could have pulled up, it would have been nice. In fact, you actually could pull it up on your thing because it'll be the same prices for boxes and collector boosters. So they are doing something called premium pricing for these sets. And it was the case for Final Fantasy, and they're doing the same thing for Spider-Man. I don't know why. I think it's completely ridiculous, and we will talk about it a little bit more, but let's get into what the prices look like. So, first of all, these are what we know about MSRPs specifically for Spider-Man, but I do want to point out and make note that it is announced that it will be right around the same price as Final Fantasy, so we're going to try to pull up those prices for the actual boxes and collector boosters, and that way we can tell you, hey, that one's speculation, but it has sort of been told that we're going to stay around there. So right now, play boosters for a normal Magic the Gathering pack sit at $5. They replaced set boosters and draft boosters into just one, but they took the price of set boosters, which were $5 before. Now they are just $5 generally going forward. The play boosters of Final Fantasy and now of Spider-Man are going to be $7 MSRP. So you're paying $2 more for the pack, and you are getting no more pieces of cardboard out of it. Now, I want to preface with the fact that... Are you having a hard time finding them? Because you could pull them up on a different website if it's not going to come up on that one.
I'm figuring it out.
Okay. But anyways, so one thing that it should be known, and this is important, and I will give Wizards of the Coast and Magic and Hasbro and all of that that they are saying that the reason they are having to give this premium pricing is because though the set is not more expensive for them to print, and it's not more expensive for them to design, and it's not or I shouldn't say design because it kind of is, that's what we're getting at, but it's not, like, the literal pieces of cardboard aren't more expensive for them to make. They have to pay an extensive licensing fee. So they're basically saying, hey, we could make a normal set that's our lore, and we wouldn't have to pay any sort of licensing for it. We're going to make this really cool set that you guys like the licensing of, so we're going to have to pay for that license. And so since we're going to have to pay for that license, actually, you guys are going to pay for that license because we're going to jack up the prices here. So that's sort of what's happening with this. So yeah, play boosters are $7. Collector boosters, that, mind you, one singular collector booster, $38. I feel like that needed time to just sink in. $38 for... Now, Commander Masters, some of these sets, yeah, you saw $40 or $50 for a collector booster because
It's going to be hard to find prices for these.
you had... Oh, okay. Well, I'll just go off of what I remember.
Purely because, like,
I'll go off of what I
everything's
remember.
out of stock.
I will go off. I'll just do the math. It's fine.
You do the math. You do that.
Okay, so purely going off of what we know... What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Like Commander Masters and these other premium sets that were premium because they were printing valuable cards.
Yeah.
Like, not just cool cards because they had certain, licenses and IPs on them. Valuable cards. Back before it was banned, you could pull that Jeweled Lotus. You could pull Deflecting SWAT, which we actually have pulled on the channel. Go check out the Cranker packs. Anyways, those sorts of things. So, yeah, did I buy a box of set boosters for Commander Masters for like $300 and some change? Yes, I did. And that was a big gift to myself that I'm really glad I have. And I've enjoyed opening. And I've pulled a lot of cards that I'm excited to slot into things. Great. But for this regular experience, it's supposed to be getting people into Magic and going, they open a couple play boosters and then they see across the room, they see this nice full art version of one of the cards they pull and they go, hey, where'd you get that? And then the game store people and people at the store have to tell them, oh, you got to buy the collector boosters. And they go, oh, well, I can buy a couple of those. How much more are they? And you have to look them dead in the eyes and say, they are 5.5 times the price of play boosters and still only have 15 cards in them.
For reference, I'm going to go based off the Spider-Man one that I found on Amazon because those are also now...
It's available for pre-order?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
This is why you read articles.
I need
on
to
Amazon,
pre-order.
It's $209.70 for the Play Booster box.
Yeah,
Mind you,
right.
I just said Play Booster box, not Collector Booster.
Well, so what Amazon's doing, for the record, is they're taking $6.99 and they're just multiplying it by 30. You are paying exactly what you would pay if you bought 30 regular play boosters. You are not getting a single itty bitty bit of a discount if you buy it off of Amazon for that price. Now, doing the same math, except I'm not going to bother with the cents. I guess I could. So $38, and there are 12 collector boosters in a collector booster box. So this is going to be, let's see, 38 times 2 is 76. So it's going to be $456. So $455.88 is what it would cost to have 12 of these bad boys in a box.
That's ridiculous.
So what did I just say? 456? Is that what I just said? I don't know. My brain's a little washed, but something along those lines, right? So with some tax and whatnot in there, you are paying $500. $500 for 12 packs
12.
of Magic cards. 12. And mind you, those packs have 15 cards in them. So you are getting, what is that, 180 cards? 180 pieces of cardboard, a stack of cards about this tall, and you're paying $500 for that. Don't get me wrong.
About $3 a card.
I love...
Most of those cards will not be worth $3.
No, almost none of them will be.
Yeah.
I love Magic the Gathering. I tell people that they should play this game almost as much, if maybe not right now, more than I do with TTRPGs and all of these hobbies that I love the most. I love video games, TTRPGs, Magic, board games, just nerd culture in general. And this is getting ridiculous. If someone comes to me with $500 and they don't have one, I'm going to go tell them to go buy a PlayStation, this thing that's going to open them up to a whole nother universe of gaming and opportunities to socialize and go online. And I'll tell them, hey, I have some Magic cards. If you want to get into Magic, here's a couple of decks I have. Let's play. I'm not going to tell them to go buy a collector booster box. And I get it. They're called collector booster boxes because they're meant to be for collectors, right?
But still, no collector should be spending $500 on 12 packs.
Well, I don't really care if some of the people that have a ton of money are for that. But if the idea is this is where the really cool looking cards are, the people that you're bringing into Magic because they like Spider-Man are going to want cool looking Spider-Man cards.
Yep.
That's what they're going to want. And I know that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and all of them know that as well, because on a calls meeting most recently, they were bragging about how Final Fantasy, for the same reason, I personally don't like Final Fantasy too much, but I haven't played it too much either. But, a ton of people do, right? It sold out within an hour. All of the product sold out within an hour. That is insane. Mm-hmm. And mind you, that is at these prices.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is insane. So let's take a look at this stuff here. Oh, sorry, I didn't even finish this. Bundle's going to be $70. That's $20 more than your average bundle. But that makes sense. Honestly, when you're getting 10, well, you get 9, but 9 play boosters that are $2 more. Yeah, they're going to charge $20 more for the bundle. I'm going to pick up some of this product, but I have to warn you guys that it might not be worth it. It's worth it for me only because I like Spider-Man, and I'm still not going to spend if this was about the regular price and a collector box was around $320, I might have said, hey, I love Spider-Man enough. I rock the Spider-Man bottle. I've got 40 t-shirts. My PlayStation has a Spider-Man skin. I love Spider-Man. Maybe I'll treat myself. I'm not spending $500 on that collector booster box. No. I just have a better use of my money. Maybe I'll go out and buy some singles from the set to make a fun commander deck, but I'm not spending that kind of money on it. And honestly, you shouldn't either. There's going to be so many people out there that open this product because, they just need it. They need the Spider-Man cards. They need all this stuff. Buy the singles. You can get all of the cards that you want, even in the cooler treatments from the collector booster, I almost guarantee you, for $500. Set aside that $500 and then just buy exactly what you want.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so let's talk about some included products, right?
I was going to say
There you go.
Now we have included products. This is everything in the Magic. Now, mind you, all of this, I didn't cite my sources. Sorry, guys. Should use the APA format. Anyways, all of this comes from the actual Wizards of the Coast MTG article that was put out today. Today being the day we're recording this. Yeah. March 1st.
We're going to try to get this out pretty...
about 12 hours ago. So it came out this morning.
Try to get this out pretty quickly on the channel, though, to keep the news
probably
going,
come out soon. We might have it come out tomorrow.
Yeah, we might.
But realistically, this came out literally the day if y'all are gonna eventually see a Road to Mythic, I'm sitting here looking at the iPad. I am literally doing this, researching the whole 9 yards, 12 hours after this article came out.
True.
So it's the included products. Our first one, we already kind of talked about it, is the Play Booster box. There's no prices for these things. The MSRPs are the only thing that I had. It's the only thing that's been released so far. So based on that, you can kind of extrapolate what it might be. This one's going to have 30 packs. They're still down to 30 packs. They're not doing 36 anymore. You're going to have 14 Magic cards.
Right.
You have one non-foiled token. Recognize that now you can no longer maybe get an art card from a Play Booster.
Like, I just want to note that, right? $150 is what Play Boosters were costing for a box of 36 of them.
Yeah.
And now we have a box of 30 of them that's going to cost 210.
Yep. Just let that sink in for a moment. Just do the math. But yep, so only 14 cards, just like normal ones. And then, like I said, no more art cards. They started doing art cards and a lot more things. And then there was a huge token shortage. So now we just get tokens.
They've just scrapped art?
Yep, completely scrapped it in normal Play Boosters.
Good to know.
You no longer get anything else. We moved to collect our booster box. You're going to have 12 packs, like we talked about. It's going to be probably close to $500. You're going to have 15 Magic cards, and you'll have one art or token card. So sometimes...
So very scarce on the art cards now.
Very.
So.
It's going to be very disappointing because I love art cards, and we're not going to get any Spider-Man art cards.
I do too, but the reality of if a tokens are needed. Tokens are a play piece.
Yes.
Right? You can play without them. They can be this pencil is my 3/3 spider. Like, sure. Yes. But at the end of the day, they are needed elements of the game.
Absolutely.
Art cards are not.
No.
If they wanted to, I mean, heck, they could make their own packs. They could be like $3 art card pack where you know you're not going to get anything, but you're just going to, I'm here for the art cards. I love art cards. We have a wall over there that I'm trying to make of art cards.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no. I'm happy that we're getting more tokens.
True, but something we do recommend, as we've bought them ourselves now, on Amazon, there are pretty cheap packs of whiteboard playing cards.
Yes.
Get them. Just buy them. Love them.
Infinite tokens are the equivalent where you can just
even
Sharpie on
versions.
there. If you have friends that are like pretty good at art or like doing artsy things, they can draw up their tokens and stuff like that. And eventually, if you have younger kids that you're playing with or kids of your own that you're going to be playing with, they can draw their things. They can have their own little dog token that they drew themselves, that sort of thing. So it can be a really fun experience. It's something that's really nice.
You can get them in packs of 45, 180. There's a lot of options. There's cheaper options, more expensive options. Something we can't recommend enough.
Yeah.
When we do have a token shortage, or you just, like us, we have a lot of different decks. Not all precons come with everything that they need. And
most
honestly,
of them do, but not
when
all
you
of
just
them.
bring your stuff down to the game store, someone might not have the token they need. You whip these bad boys out.
There you go.
Here you go. Whiteboard on it what you need.
What are you making? You're making a 5/3 elemental squid,
Truly. Like, we can't
there we go.
recommend
Squid.
enough.
Just draw those tentacles on there.
Just write squid across. That's what I would do.
All right, shall we?
Good choice. Yeah.
All right, what else we got? We got
bundle. That's gonna come
I'm gonna be
per
honest,
usual.
That's some pretty sick looking art. I'm here.
He hasn't seen these yet. We've got 9 packs, 30 lands, 1 alternate art card. This is another way you're guaranteed an art card, but it's only 1.
It is alternate though. That's pretty neat.
It is. You'll have 2 reference cards, which are your little hey, this is how you play. You'll have a spin down die and obviously the storage box. So
it doesn't come with a promo.
It does not. It will not.
No promo in the bundle.
No promo in the bundle this year. Sorry, guys.
That was
loud. We're so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry for him. But yeah, so you're gonna have the packs, the lands, alternate art card, reference cards,
buy the bundle,
die,
but it's gonna hurt.
Box.
It's gonna hurt.
It is the day it shows.
If you're not a big Spider-Man fan, don't buy these. I'm only gonna buy the bare minimum of what I'm gonna need, and then the singles to finish because I'm gonna make a cube because I love drafting,
over time.
and I'm sure it's gonna be a draft set. But I'm confident that they're gonna make this a decent draft set, and I'm gonna be really sad if it's not. But the problem is that some of these cards are gonna be up in price too, just because they're legal and standard, right? So there's gonna be some demand to them, and
absolutely one of the best ways to try out this set We're gonna hope and pray it goes to Arena.
Yes, it does. It will. It's standard legal. It has to.
Try it on Arena first.
So go to Arena. Yeah.
Before you even.
In fact, actually, draft on Arena. Make your decks on Arena. If that doesn't work, go to Mox Field. We can actually make a whole video of how to play Spell Table with Mox Field because I've learned that now from videos online that or some of those were hard to watch, but I got through it. Maybe we can make one that's a little more cohesive. But yeah, there are so many ways. Borrow from a friend and proxy. Proxy the cards. I'm honestly,
Do it.
I was very against proxies when I first got into Magic because I was like, look, man, why do you need to play at such a high level? And I was like, well, if you want to, proxy the cards. That kind of makes sense, but I don't know if I really want to. Now it's like, sure, yeah. If these are coming out and, I want to make a Avengers deck and you want to throw Iron Man in there and Captain America in there and all these cards that they put out that are now like, $50, $60, $70, $80 because of the scarcity of them. Yeah, maybe I'm okay just putting a bunch of my extra lands in sleeves and just sliding a copy, printed out proxy on top of them.
But yeah.
Proxy these cards,
bundle.
people.
Then we have our scene box. We've already gone over just a little bit. We've already seen it. You can kind of see all those cards come together now in the picture. Mm-hmm. It's called Spidey Spectacular Showdown. You'll have 3 play booster packs, 6 borderless foil cards, and 6 scene art cards, and then obviously display easel.
Yep. Now it does come with the 3 play booster. So this is realistically what, like $2 more than what we saw.
This quite literally might be the only thing that is worth the money.
Yeah, and even then it might not be.
Some sense.
I should say this. How about this? Instead of saying that it's worth the money, we'll say that it's on par price-wise with how they did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
everything else, not on par price-wise with how they did Lord of the Rings. So that is something to be noted. Now, it also should be noted that in the Lord of the Rings ones were set boosters, because that was something that they were still doing back in Lord of the Rings, which lines up pretty close with play boosters. I mean, the play boosters are $7. The Lord of the Rings set boosters were $6. So, give or take. Yeah, also, something I want to point out really quickly, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump back here. When we look at the revealed cards, the set code down here. So SPE down there is for Spider-Man Eternal.
I can look at the other ones.
Well, they're like 22, 24. I mean, we can go through them right now. See, like, so 23, 22.
No, there are other, codes.
Oh.
It's not just SPE.
I'm not worried about that. What I wanted to talk about is how they start at 1. Mm-hmm. And this is 22. Mm-hmm. That assumes that there's going to be 21 more before it that are other Eternal cards. And we're not getting Commander decks. So, personally, I'm of the belief that we're going to see at least a couple other... we're going to see at least probably 3 other, maybe, is what I would say. This is pure speculations, but maybe 3 other scene boxes. And possibly. Then I would say from that is 18... And then we need like 2 more or 3 more or something like that.
I think so.
So then maybe they have a starter set that 2 of the cards are, I don't know, something like that. But maybe we see no other scene boxes. But it should be noted there are going to be other Eternal only cards.
Yes.
So maybe they're in packs. I don't know.
There are also going to be 3 different set symbols. I just should have included this, but I didn't. Obviously the first set symbols, we've already seen it. It's an actual spider. It's the SPE expansion symbol. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have one of like Spider-Man's little face. And that is going to be I believe, just
normal set.
SPE is Spider-Man Eternal. Spider-Man, just SPM, is going to be the face. Mm-hmm. And there's also going to be MAR, Marvel expansion symbol.
Interesting. All right, so moving on from that.
We have the welcome decks. So they're going to come in Wooburg. There's going to be 5. They all have... Oh, I'd have to look at it. Sorry. I couldn't get a good picture of this one, so there's not a picture on here because I didn't want to do it injustice. White is going to be just good old normal Spidey, Peter Parker.
Miguel. Blue is going to be Miguel.
Okay, blue is Miguel. And then black is Venom. White is Silk, and then green is not white. Red is Silk. Whew.
Red is Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen. Is that not Silk? No. Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm so sorry, you guys.
It's all good. You don't know Spider lore.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Green's Miles.
And then green is Miles.
I know that one.
Now, it should be noted that if you get white... So, each of these come with 2 30-card half decks, right? If you have white, you're going to get the Spider-Man as one of them. The other one is going to be a random one of the other 4. So, you're going to get... Like, white, you're going to get Spider-Man. I think that was right?
Yep.
White, you're going to get Spider-Man. And then the other half deck could be the blue, black, red, or green one. These are great. They did these before. I love this as an introduction to Magic because... The important part of this is that these are supposed to be free. So you can go in and say, hey, I heard that there's a Spider-Man Magic thing. I've been hearing about this game. I thought I might want to get into it, and this is going to be my time. And they get to go, here, try this for free. And then when you're ready, we've got collector booster packs for $37.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. It's fine.
Yeah.
But these are great.
These are great. Odds are there's not going to be many. Realistically, people are going to go in and just get out.
I think the game store I worked at the last time we got them in, we got like 10. So
people don't get a lot of people come in and just kind of snag them.
No. All right, next.
All right, we got the pre-release kit. Everyone knows what this is. Your Knife 6 play booster packs, the traditional and foil with the year stamp, rare mythic card, spin down die in a storage box. Gonna be the same old pre-release.
So this one does still come with a foil, a promo.
It does.
It should be noted that at $7 a pop, you should expect pre-release to be about $45 to $50 to partake in.
Honestly, it'll probably be 50 or 55. Realistically, people are gonna charge up for this one.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll hit 55. They'll probably do 50. They'll probably call it 50
because that's gonna be ridiculous. Because we're gonna go and it's gonna be $100 for us to go do one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So looking forward to September. I am. I'm excited for this set, but it's ridiculous that pre-release, which is supposed to be like, ooh, get to know the set, is gonna be $100 for two people.
Well, let's look at it this way, and maybe if you're in the same boat as me, or vice versa, if you don't really like Spider-Man, you love Final Fantasy. The way that I'm kind of looking at this, I don't give a crap about Final Fantasy. That doesn't mean I think it's bad. It's not something I care about. Like, it's not something I follow. So, I'm not going to really I don't plan to go to the pre-release for Final Fantasy. So, I'm only going to one of these. So, if they cost the price of basically two, but I'm only going to one, I mean, at least I'm not down more money than I would have been if it was just two Magic sets where I would have gone to both of them, right?
True.
Like, if it was another Lorwyn set and then, we're going back to Innistrad and a new set, I'm going to both of those, right? So,
Facts.
I guess there's that. The only, the downside of that is that that means there's a set I'm not excited about, which is Final Fantasy, so.
But that's okay. You do not have to be excited about every set. Repeat with me.
Well, hold up, because now you have to be knowledgeable about them, and sometimes you have to buy the cards in them if you're going to be competitive in Standard, which all of them are in Standard now. So, while that's
true,
the
or
logic,
you just play Arena.
The logic of the Magic design, yeah, but then on Arena they've jacked up the prices of getting your wild cards, so you can't build the decks, and yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
It's
terrible.
All right, moving on.
All right, for new players, basically, this is kind of our last thing. There's no slide after this. This is it. If you're a new player, look at me, math. Don't. Just don't.
Don't what?
Don't buy this.
Mm.
We love you enough
Get a welcome deck. It's free.
Play on Arena.
Yes, actually.
We love y'all enough to tell you not to buy this.
Yeah.
Other places are going to be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's going to be great cards and this and that.
Well, the people trying to sell it to you. If you go to anyone online or anything like that, there's a lot of hate around this set. And the thing is, we know for a fact it's not hate around Spider-Man because Spider-Man has literally been proven to be, at least in America, the number one superhero. Now, that's no shot at all the other superheroes, but there's enough love out there for Spider-Man. That's for sure. But what there's not enough love in the Magic community for is the overwhelming amount of product, the overwhelming greed that comes when they're like hiking up the prices of this. I guess overwhelming and speed of product is there, but like the influx of sets that are in Standard and not anything going straight to Eternal anymore.
We did the math. By the end of this year, when it turns over and sets are going out,
so before cycle,
16 or 17 different 16 or 17. We're not entirely sure on the dates on one.
I think it's about 16.
We think it's 16. There will be 16 different sets in Standard.
Yeah. So around when Spider-Man, it's right around when Spider-Man's coming out. Right around that time, even if it's 15, that's 15 different sets.
Ridiculous. That
are legal in Standard at that time. And that's the format that they're wanting these people to get into when they get this and they go, oh, okay, so I'm playing Standard. Gotcha. I mean, there's 20 people in here and they're all playing Commander, but sure, I'll build a Standard deck. What do I need for that? And you go, well, you can get any of these cards. There's only about, there's maybe like 200 to 300 cards a set, so that's only about 4,500 cards to choose from.
Yeah.
Start reading.
Mm-hmm.
on a real note, I love the formats of Magic, but this
Yeah.
just doesn't seem new player friendly
It's not.
at all. I love the welcome decks, and I think that is the biggest new player friendly thing that they could have done. I think some commander decks, even if they made the price a little higher, because new players are probably only going to buy the one that they're interested in, right? So sure, give us $60 commander decks. I'm actually fine with that if it means we get some better cards in there.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be harder to upgrade these and keep them thematic. So maybe you make them good enough that they don't need to be as upgraded. That's fine.
I also
But-
want to say,
Nope.
although I kind of shit on the price of what pre-release will probably be, if you're a new player and you're excited for this, and let's look at when it is. It's March right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're seeing this or you're seeing about this in June or July, read some stuff. And you want to play Spider-Man, but you don't know for sure you want to spend all this money. Read some stuff on how to draft, on how to do sealed, on how to do limited. Go to the pre-release. You'll get 6 packs. You'll get, do the math for me, 14 times 6.
14 times 6,
Yeah,
84.
84. You'll get about 84 cards. You'll build a deck, and you'll play with the people at your game store. It's going to be a great introduction to the set, to Magic. Those people at that pre-release event are not going to be taking it that seriously. They're not. It's a pre-release. They know that new players are coming during pre-release.
Well, yeah.
Some people might take it pretty seriously, but if you go and like our last one was 11 people. I found like 3 other people that we just sat and kind of laughed at the end of it because we knew we weren't placing super high. So our last game, we kind of just sat and BS'd. And it was fantastic because am I as hardcore of a player as some of the other people that were there? Absolutely not.
I was going to say, my last game
Absolutely
was not
not.
sitting down in BS. That was some
Mine was.
locked in. But to be fair, my game was between both of us knowing who wins this gets number one.
So but
like,
if you truly like
that's the good thing
building
about
a-
pre-release, though.
building a draft deck is not as hard as you think it's going to be. Especially with pre-release, they give you a literal sheet
Well,
on
pre-
how to build a draft deck.
Oh, pre-release is sealed too, so it's even
It's
draft. I
not
know you mean
passing, none of
limited
it. I mean
in that
limited.
sense, but
But like
You don't have
sealed,
to
you
know how
open
to
6
draft.
packs and you just get to pick the best cards and build the best deck. And you're even getting a little pamphlet on how to do that.
and realistically, there's no rules
got
that
it.
say nobody else can help you. So you're gonna have some veteran
Yeah.
there that made their deck in 20 minutes because they've memorized all the cards before the set came out
Exactly.
because they care about the limited pool. And they will usually 95% of the time they're nice people. They'll come around, hey, yeah, I'll take a look if you want me to. If you don't, that's fine. Make your own deck. But do you want
can
some
also
guidance?
Just ask, sitting at the table,
yeah.
hey, I'm new to this. Can someone just give me some pointers?
You've got
Help
some
me.
really strong green and red cards, so maybe you want to go in that direction. Or, you build your deck list and then you say, hey, can you look over this real quick? And they go, I like it. Maybe take this out. It says each opponent. It's pretty good in certain formats, but not this one.
You can
things
even
like
just
that,
like
so.
be like, hey, can you check my mana curve? Hey, how many lands do I need? Because lands is kind of a hard thing to figure out sometimes.
Yeah, it can
I
be.
still struggle with it. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask the people working at the game
Yeah.
store who are monitoring the event.
All right.
But truly, like, that's going to be the way to get into this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, so I guess kind of closing statements for me. That way we can wrap up the video and we'll do the same for you. But closing statements for me, man, there's not a set that I could have been more excited for. There is not. I cannot
He's
fathom.
been talking about it since the announcement came out in, like, October.
I cannot fathom anything that they could announce as a Universes Beyond set or even just Magic set in general. Like, we could go back to Eldraine. I would be so here for that. I still would not be more excited than I am for Spider-Man. They could not have announced a better one for me, and I am definitely deep into disappointment because of this. I'm still, holding on to some hope that there's going to be some good cards in it. I'm still going to be able to make a deck out of it as an experienced Magic player, but I know it's going to cost me, and I just cannot recommend it out there for new players at all. I will say the one thing that Ashley mentioned that I will build off of is, yes, a limited environment is where being able to open just Spider-Man cards will be the way everyone has to play. So if you are able to go in and pay, hey, I have $20 from the shift I just worked that I'm able to throw at some fun. Let me do a draft. Yes, that's fine. You're going to get 3 or 4 hours out of that night at a game store having fun with people. And yeah, you get to spend $20 on Spider-Man packs and get a game and have some fun out of it. But when you want to take that next step and go, okay, how can I continue playing Magic with these cards without having to buy new ones every time? Because draft is expensive to do in person. The answer is going to be either commit to a different format and just sort of use those cards in there because Spider-Man's way too expensive, or learn to draft and play on like an Arena or a Magic Online or something like that. Because the reality is the printed versions of these cards are just not average American income friendly. They're just not.
They're not.
This is not the type of money that people have to spend on their hobbies. You know, I mean, there was an article that people reference and stuff like this. That it's always in all of the Magic memes and whatnot. That's like the average American adult spends like $20 a month on their hobbies or something like that. And every person ever in any nerd hobby is like, what? Like what?
Bucks.
You know. So obviously that's not true. And I don't think that the people that claim that are putting in accurate numbers when you think about the hobby of going out to eat or something like that, right? They probably don't consider
it.
They probably don't consider it a hobby, right? But if you rein back on that, you might have more money for Magic or something. But this is just a ridiculous output. Like, let's say you wanted to throw together a draft a week with friends, and you've been doing that back since 2012 because you're an older guy and you've been having fun with it. Like, it's such a good format. It's my favorite way to play. Well, back in 2012, up until like 2022 or something like that, it was $12 to do that. And we are now breaking into about $24 to do that. We have almost doubled the price. That is insane.
It is.
Insane. And I promise you guys that the price of the cards, the value of them, is not going to match the amount of money that you're putting into this.
No.
So, again, if you are wanting to construct something, buy the singles. If you are wanting to play limited, try to find some way to do it. Even if it's work with a buddy to build a cube. If you really want to do it with physical cards, I plan to build a cube over time. Or Arena is a good option. Or heck, draft sim to Arena once you have cards on there. I mean, find something. Play Moxfield Simulator with a browser open and your buddy's got another browser open and you're just, I don't know, do something. Now, what do you got? It's been a long video. We're passionate.
Even I'm more passionate than I thought I was going to be.
Because it's, I mean, you love the game. I have watched you fall in love with the game, so...
This feels like the most un-American thing they could have done for America's favorite superhero. If I'm being so real.
That's very true.
You want to bring in new people. Yeah. And Wizards, I'm speaking directly to you. I know you're never going to see this video and I don't care.
You know what? Actually, it's all okay. These are just the New York prices. I'm so funny, guys.
I love you.
It's all part of the theme. Isn't that crazy,
though?
You
want to bring in new players.
That's true. Magic needs to bring in new players because they're losing old ones.
You're not doing that by making sets 6 times a year.
That's true.
People can't keep up with that. We have to look at finances every single time a new set is announced or is coming up and figure out what do we have to move around and with all of our hobbies to make this work.
What can we even as much as it sounds crazy, thank God there's not a lot coming out TTRPG or video game wise right now that I'm super hyped about.
The only video game we're hyped about for the next 3 months is Split Fiction.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible thing. There should be so many more good video games coming out. And honestly, there just aren't right now, and that's okay. But we're also grateful for that because...
Well, there are some good ones, but not ones that we think will play anytime soon.
We think will play anytime soon, so we're going to wait for them to go on sale and stuff like that. But it's like people who are just as invested in their hobbies as we are in TTRPGs, in Magic, in board games, in video games, in all of these things. Like, I love reading. I don't remember the last time I bought a new book because new books are too expensive. Like, legitimately... Why are you making people sacrifice the other things in their life to play your game?
Yeah.
I understand that, yes, it's a want, not a need. I understand that. But if you want to bring new people in, don't make it cost us so much money. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You are taking advantage of people not understanding that they don't need the collector booster box. You are taking advantage of people. And that is terrible.
And that's exactly what they want to do. It's exactly what they want. They are taking advantage of the love people have for Final Fantasy and Spider-Man. And
which is why it sold out an hour.
Nerd culture, the group that plays Magic the Gathering, or that, they're not gonna catch your average frat boy and get him into Magic because they made a Spider-Man set. But they're gonna catch other nerds that have been dropping hundreds on comic books but haven't started dropping hundreds on Magic yet, and are gonna go, well, I spend $150 a month on comic books, but you're getting $150, you're getting at least, what, 30 probably, maybe? Oh, gosh, I guess comics have gone up too. But, like, you're getting at least 20 comics for that, you know?
Still.
You're not getting probably a lot of value out of dropping $500 on a collector booster box.
It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, even the collector boosters we've been opening for AFR, I don't think will come close to what I paid for them for you.
Yeah. I mean...
Like, really, it doesn't matter. They were a gift. But still, we have it, like, in a different place in our mana box. So that at the end, we can compare it to the price that I paid to realistically see...
Oh, yeah. No.
How much value are
Part
you
of the
getting
reason I
out
was
of
never
it?
going to buy that was because I knew it was never going to live up to the price. Because there's like 2 cards in the whole set that are worth anything. And you pay a lot for these collector booster boxes. And I'm not upset about that at all, right? And I'm really glad that I got it as a gift because now I have, oh wait, this cool art. But the reality of the situation is, old Gnawbone aside, if I wanted the cool art of every other card, I probably could have bought a single of it for the price of buying the box.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I mean, I'm at the point where for Valentine's Day, I bought him a card that he could technically pull in the collector booster. I bought it for him.
That's true.
Because even though we're not through the collector booster, I don't think he's going to pull it.
Right, and when I make an Ur-Dragon deck and I decide I want to put an old Gnawbone in there, I'm probably going to have to buy a single of that anyways, because the chance of me pulling it is very slim. Now, I understand that it's gambling, right? Like, that is what this is. It's gambling that's legal to children, and I hate that, but that's sort of that's what it is. And that's why I love Commander decks so much, is that you can get a 7 or 8-year-old into Magic, buy them a Commander deck, and they didn't get any gambling out of it. They might have opened their sample pack, sure, whatever, but... Like, they don't inherently buy into that. Ooh, I want to open this and see if I get cool stuff, which is just...
We know people who just...
Brutal.
Got sucked into it.
It is brutal.
But on a bright note, if you do love this set, if you are excited for Spider-Man, if you love Spider-Man, even if you don't know Magic, if you do love Magic and you love Spider-Man, like I said, don't buy it yet. Like, just don't. That's not a good choice.
Yeah. Maybe attend a pre-release because that's going to be a fun environment.
But also, it's going to come out on Arena like a week before it even comes out in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Arena. One of the greatest things for this set is that it will be on Arena. There are ways to play these cards and experience them and have fun and draft and do everything that you would want to do
without paying
without having to really pay much of anything. So,
and truthfully, that's probably gonna be how we experience most of this set for a long time. Because do we have the money to just go drop $500 on everything that we want from this set to make a cube to do all these things? No, we're gonna have big kid expenses.
That's true, but also the reality of the set is that save a few, maybe chase rares and mythics. Like let's say there's 10 rares and mythics, you know, not even each, just 10 total rares and mythics that are worth more than $5, right? That means you can probably build a set cube without the whole set, draft the whole set without those 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 cards for like $200. But then you want to add in those 10 cards, and it probably costs now $500 to build the set cube, you know, because those are the specific cards that are really expensive. Yeah. Well, I would much rather, instead of waiting 5 years to have the set cube because it costs that much, build the one that's $200, right? And just go, okay, you're not going to pull, you know, Ultimate Spider-Man Friendly Neighborhood Icon or whatever the card's called that is really a chase rare, but you're going to get 98% of the draft experience.
Because you weren't going to pull it anyway.
And your chance of pulling it anyways was very slim. And if you go chase 10 more packs, you don't pull it in those 10 packs because your chance of that's super slim. You just spent $70 more. You could have just bought the one card of it for $50.
Absolutely.
If you had the money to spend $70, you know. If you don't buy it.
But like we said, we're still excited for this set.
Yeah.
Very, very deep disappointment.
I think the only reason I'm not like just dismal is because it's not going to be on Arena.
It's going to be on Arena. That's
right?
truly the only, like, I don't think, you guys will see more Road to Mythic than ever in this. Like, I hope you know that.
Yeah, probably.
I hope you know. We've only just started making Road to Mythic again because we've been less busy.
I'm not even going to lie.
And we're still not even done being busy.
I might just alt account save up until Spider-Man. I'm not even going to lie. I might just do that.
He's probably going to. He has 2 accounts.
And then I have an alt account to save up for to be able to do more drafts and stuff because I'm not great at it, so I don't have the return of gems usually high enough to continue drafting. Now, maybe I would get much better at a Spider-Man set, but...
Well, he's going to be doing it like 3 times a day.
Whoa. I don't know about that. I have work. I'll have work.
And you're going to get off at like 4 o'clock.
That's fair. That's fair.
Anyways.
Okay, we got to get this video out.
We've got it.
Thank
we
you
just
guys
ramble.
for tuning in. We're supposed to tell you to subscribe at the beginning, and we forgot.
Still didn't.
But please hit that subscribe button. If you want more opinions on Magic, we got them. If you want to see some unboxings and some cool videos about it, we got them. If you want to see some news videos about Magic, we got them. If you want to see some video games, we got it. If you want to see some TTRPG content, we got it. We are everything nerdy and geeky here at Rollsicle, so we'd love to have you for any and all of it, and the best way to catch up that content is going to be subscribed to the channel. Your support has been everything to us in making these videos. It always puts a smile on our face. Literally today I sent her a picture of going up a subscriber just to be like, hey, I hope this makes your day better, and she was like, yay, so
it did, 'cause we
very, very exciting stuff, and just seeing that number tick up by 1, or seeing a comment of someone that went, hey, I watched this, it was really great, have you thought of this or whatnot? So
or even just like people joining the Discord, even if you never type in there, you don't ever say anything.
We do have a Discord down in
happy.
our description. We'd love to have you. It's
Instagram,
a great place to hang out. If you want just a cool place to hang out, if you want to complain about Spider-Man cards, or honestly,
come do it. If you have
questions or anything like that, I can geek on for hours, and I'd love to geek on with you.
It's also a great way to get in contact with us and be able to tell us what it is that you want to see more of.
That is true. Right now, we are a small enough channel that we can take direct feedback. So if you guys want something specific that you want to see, get in while we're small, and we would love to have you help us make the content that you guys want to see. That's why we're making this. So like you said, leave a comment down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to the channel. That being said, I loved making this video. I can't wait to make more. I hope you guys can't wait to watch more. I'm sure you loved making it too. But that's a wrap for this one. So until next time, may those rolls be ever in your favor. Maybe don't spend $500 on a collector booster. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.